lot of me from the hood, so people look at Bleek and don't understand the business he's doing. They always look at Jay like, oh
yeah. That's why you got like Yayo talking about Jay don't take care of. I don't need Jay to go on tour.
Yo, smoke hard coke, yo.
Yo, chill.
You look like you need to be taken care of. You look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene.
No disrespect to Jim Jones. Fifth had me in Battery Park. I could walk out that barefoot.
Get the socks.
See, that's when a nigga love you, nigga. You can get the socks, nigga. Sneakers Dior, nigga. But I'm walking out there barefoot. That's when you know a nigga love you, boy. Because he making sure you don't get your shit split.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, he was not a rapper at all.
Jim Jones just lost it on Tony Yayo during Memphis Bleek's podcast, and the internet's losing its mind over it. The tension wasn't random either. This whole situation's been brewing for a while. You might be wondering, why are these grown men from hip-hop beefing like this? What's really behind all the hate? Well, stay tuned, because the story runs deep and it's packed with pride, loyalty, and some serious ego clashes. Let's break this down from the top. Memphis Bleek, Jay-Z's right-hand man since the Blueprint days, doesn't mess with Tony Yayo at all. And the reason is simple but deep. Tony Yayo's been throwing shots at Jay-Z for years, calling him out for being a hater and saying Hav doesn't support people around him. That kind of talk doesn't sit right with Bleek, who's basically family to Jay-Z. But the crazy part? Yayo didn't just keep it general. He brought Bleek's name into it too. During his sit-down with Shannon Sharpe, Tony Yayo said, Jay-Z's a hater, man. He don't take care of nobody. Look at Memphis Bleek. He not shining. He not winning. And then he twisted the knife even deeper, bragging that 50 Cent treats him better than Jay treats Bleek. Like, who even compares things like that on national TV? That's wild. But this is where things start to get messy, because now it's turned into a battle of who's the better boss.
Like I just said, we just came back off tour.
Yeah.
With Fifth, and we still touring, still. And I do my own tours too for people. Yo.
You see,
I do my own tours. I did tours in Canada. I did a tour across the whole Germany and the Swiss Alps, and that's why I don't care about the hate, because I'm like, I got the possibility to do my own tour, like something with Memphis Bleek. Memphis Bleek said to Nori, Yayo said, Jay-Z didn't have us on tour like he did, or I eat my own halal. I eat my own halal too. If you want to say that, to Memphis Bleek, I just came off my last tour. All I'm saying is when you see Jay-Z in a setting, he never really, when he's doing a Beyonce show or whatever, you don't see Memphis Bleek on the stage or him being brought out.
Tony Yayo's out here saying 50's loyal, 50 looks out for me. And honestly, that's where Jim Jones jumped in, because the conversation about who takes care of who hit a nerve with him too. Jim came through heated, basically saying, real men don't brag about who feeds them. They feed themselves.
Even if I'm doing the hype man shit with 50, he's bringing me out. I'm making money. I'm going to.
That's that man girl too.
That's it. That's Hov's wife tour.
Yeah, that's Hov wife tour.
So if Hov, I believe if Hov was out on his own, he would bring Bleek out. There is no need for him to bring Bleek in a situation where it looked like if this was the last tour you're talking about with the Cowboy Carter.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, because I look at Bleek as a loyal guy, like I'm a loyal guy to Jay. But I look at like Fifth. My guy Hervé, one day we had TRL, and it's the Young Gunners there.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him about it. And Hervé says loud, you don't gotta worry about nothing. You got 50. Jay-Z doesn't do nothing for these guys like 50 does. And Hervé, I think he worked with them too. But he said that to me, and that always stuck in my head. Rest in peace to him.
I'm Tony Yayo said, Hov don't look out for me like 50 look out for him.
Oh, word? He said that?
I just want to clear that up. Hov don't have to.
All right.
You know what I mean?
All right. Okay.
I'm chewing a lot on my own. If Hov look out, I'm telling you, I'll be up there. So when y'all see me out here, that's the Blizzle budget. But back to you, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I just want to let niggas know Hov don't have to.
So,
he pointed out that relying on another man's success to validate your own is embarrassing. That line hit hard because it's true. Once that man cuts you off, what happens next? Jim's reaction wasn't just random anger, it was a street-level reality check about independence and respect in hip-hop. At the end of the day, what started as playful shade turned into a messy clash between loyalty and pride. Jay-Z's name, 50 Cent's legacy, Bleek's loyalty, and Yayo's attitude, it's all tangled up. And Jim Jones stepping in just turned this podcast moment into a full-blown internet explosion. So Tony Yayo's whole stance is basically that Jay-Z's this cold, selfish dude who never helps anyone, that he only looks out for himself. But let's be real, that's a heavy accusation, especially when you're throwing shade at someone who built half of modern hip-hop. It wasn't even about bragging at that point. It was straight up disrespect toward Jay-Z's name. Still, the wildest part is how Yayo said it so casually, like exposing billionaires is just another Tuesday. That man really doesn't care who he offends. Now, Memphis Bleek wasn't having it. He went on Drink Champs and gave his side of the story, and according to him, there's no deep blood feud with Tony Yayo. Not yet, anyway. Over the years, they've even been seen at the same events, same rooms, even chopped it up a few times. But when Yayo started questioning Jay-Z's loyalty and dragging Bleek's name into it, that's when things shifted. You can't just come for someone's mentor and expect peace afterward. What's interesting, though, is that Tony Yayo has a long history of calling people out for not taking care of their guys. That's kind of his whole thing. He keeps tabs on who's feeding their crew and who's not. And that habit, it's exactly what sparked his new issue with Jim Jones. Crazy, right? After all these years, Dipset and G-Unit drama is finding its way back to the spotlight. Everyone remembers the old G-Unit versus Dipset beef, 50 Cent and Cameron going at it, Jim Jones getting dragged in, the whole New York rap scene on fire. Most people thought that was ancient history, but nah, Yayo brought the smoke right back.
What's the difference between me and other niggas, right? Stack Bundles, one of my favorite rappers in the world.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Right?
Brian Squad. Rest in peace.
Far Rock.
Yep.
You understand? Jim Jones, he had Stack Bundles, he had Max B. I looked at it like, wait, you know. Stack Bundles, we had a portion, was still in the hood. No disrespect to Jim Jones. Fifth had me in Battery Park. I could walk out that barefoot.
Get the
See,
socks.
that's when a nigga love you, nigga. Get the socks, nigga. Sneakers Dior, nigga. But I'm walking out there barefoot. That's when you know a nigga love you, boy. Cause he making sure you don't get your shit split. Cause you go back to 134, anywhere, Baisley, right, Brooklyn, pew, shit get split. Once I got shit, nigga shot my shit up. Bentleys and all that. Y'all can get that sneaker, just toss that over there. My shit's official. You know what I'm saying? Yo, look, but nigga put me in position. Rest in peace of Stack, but Stack got killed in the project with a Porsche.
Yeah.
Nigga, come on, nigga, I'm from the hood, nigga. Y'all niggas thought, nigga. I done been around the Black Justice and seen the Preems and all that, nigga. The E-Money bags, all that, nigga. The younger niggas under that.
During an interview on Math Hoffa's podcast, he accused Jim Jones of not taking care of his artist, the late Stack Bundles. According to Yayo, Jim left Stack in the hood to die, saying that if Jones had really supported him, Stack might have made it out alive. That's a harsh claim. Now, for those who don't know, Stack Bundles wasn't just some random rapper. He was signed under Jim Jones, part of Bird Gang, and one of the hottest young voices coming out of Queens.
So with everything you
Maserati Fox. Real
saw,
nigga, huh?
with everything that you saw, what would you change?
I just pray to God every time I leave the house.
But what would you change?
Change what?
Pass the cup.
I heard you talk about all the shit you went through, all the shit niggas is still going through.
What
Yeah,
God,
you need one of them cups
listen,
just for
what
the
God
ashtray.
got planned for you is planned for you, brother. God already know what's planned for you in life.
God planned for you to come here and spaz on y'all niggas tonight.
I spaz?
I'm just saying, it was a plan.
I mean, I do be on some Hollywood shit in Europe. I gotta stop.
Yeah.
Something like, yo, stop talking about Europe. I don't, like, when you come here, you gotta deal
Don't
with
treat
niggas.
Vlad like that, bro. See how niggas is? See how
No, I
niggas
ain't
is,
nothing to do
bro?
with Vlad.
He ain't treat Vlad
do
like
with Europe.
this. He ain't
I
treat
do
Vlad
things
like
you have to
this,
do with
my
Europe.
nigga.
When you go to
Jim even took him on tour and tried to push him into the spotlight. But sadly, Stack's story ended in tragedy when he was shot and killed in his neighborhood. Some fans have always blamed Jim for not doing more, saying he left his boy behind when success hit. And that's the kind of talk that pushed Jim over the edge. Hearing Yayo twist that story into a weapon was too much. It turned an old tragedy into fresh drama and made this new feud between Jim Jones and Tony Yayo explode all over again.
The problem is, and when she was on the show, she had said that she had heard about you wasn't giving Stack money, but people don't know that when Stack asked you for the bread, you were going to the bank. I think the bank was closed. Something happened because me and Bino talked about. I remember being there, and you was going to give him
more money after the money he spent because we was on tour. He like, G's, I spent all that tour money, G's, I'll pop, I'll bucket. Whatever he did for another Porsche, BMW, he like, yo, pop, G's, you said closed mouths don't get fed, G's, I'm pop, G's, I'm hurting.
It's a fact.
And when I told him, I said, yo, go get 25 grand from the bank tomorrow. He like, oh, yo, what's up with that Wrangler truck? I'm like, I left that shit in Brooklyn. I don't even want that shit. I don't even know what block it's on. Matter of fact, it's by the car shop where I got the Maserati from. He like, you let me get that, G's. I'm like, go take it. You probably got to get a new key. He like, oh, I'm going to go get that tomorrow, G's. You different, G's. And we all know the rest of the story.
Why do you think that people have this misconception of what happened? Why do you think even her? Why do you think that? Where did that come from?
Because he likes to hear the truth.
Because we were there. I don't get mad all the time, and he gets offended. And he was one of the people that called me. He's like, that's not true. They think that what they think is that Stack asked you. He told you he wanted to leave. They said that Stack told you he wanted to leave. He wanted to move, and you didn't move him out. But that's not true.
See, Stack Bundles was one of those rare talents who never really left the hood, and that's where things get complicated. A lot of people love to point fingers at Jim Jones, saying he left Stack behind. But real life ain't always that simple, because sometimes you can hand somebody every tool, every connection, and every dollar, but if they don't want to move, there's only so much you can do.
You want to hear that story? All right, for Stacks and them, I was about to buy Stacks, the kid Max, and Melly a whole brownstone in New Jersey. None of them wanted to leave the hood. And I was not about to waste my money, and that was what I offered them. I went shopping for the shit and all that type of shit.
Yeah, we remember that, like, Bass. We remember that. Shout out to Bass. I remember the conversation.
And I'm like, yo, you bugging. You want to, like, you could go to the hood every day, but you're going to be living in Jersey. Like, you're going to be living better than, like, and you don't have to worry about paying for no rent or nothing like that. I'm just trying to get you niggas out the hood. Melly too. And Melly ended up getting shot, right? Like none of these niggas would listen, and everything that happened that you know can happen in the hood end up happening and shit like that, you know what I mean? But everything to try to protect them for what I know could have happened to them, I tried. You heard? From getting all of these cars to getting all these, everything. You can imagine everything. Private jets to Miami, hundreds of thousands in one weekend, 2 tour buses at Atlanta, like, cannot front on how I had my boys moving. And I'm only talking about this because you was there, and you and Stacks were best friends with Bino, a couple others and like that. Other than I don't even talk to people about Stacks and what went on, but we were sending out. This was not on our level.
That's exactly what I think happened with Jim and Stack. Jim opened doors, showed him a way out, and still, Stack wanted to keep one foot in the streets. That's a dangerous game, especially when fame and jealousy start mixing. But here's where it gets messy. People accuse Jim of taking Stack's whole style, the way he dressed, his flow, even his energy. Stack Bundles was ahead of his time, no doubt. If that man had lived longer, he would have been front row at Paris Fashion Week, rocking designer fits before it was even trendy. He had that same natural flair and creative drip that people now associate with ASAP Rocky. No exaggeration. Because of that, some fans believe Jim Jones didn't just fail to protect Stack. They say he capitalized off his aura. They claim Jim took Stack's fashion sense, his slang, even his signature swagger, and built a brand off it. And once Stack passed, that rumor stuck like glue. But Jim's always pushed back hard on that narrative, saying he tried everything to pull Stack out of the hood. According to him, he gave Stack opportunities, tours, and even hella money to help him get his life straight, but Stack didn't want to leave his block. In Jim's mind, he did everything a big homie was supposed to do, but in the eyes of the fans, it wasn't enough. And that tension has haunted him ever since. During that emotional interview, Jim snapped, not just at Tony Yayo, but at anyone questioning his loyalty. You could hear it in his voice how he wasn't performing, he was hurt. This wasn't about clout, it was about guilt, loss, and reputation all tangled together. At that time, Tony Yayo hadn't even fired his latest shots yet, but you can already see why Jim was so fired up. Stack Bundles' name still hits a nerve for him. Whether he gave Stack $25,000 or helped him with G-Wagon dreams, nobody really knows. The truth got buried with Stack, and that's exactly why this beef feels so personal for Jim Jones. What I do know is this: Jim Jones takes anything involving Stack Bundles deeply personal. That name alone flips a switch in him. So when Tony Yayo brought Stack up again, Jim didn't see it as just rap talk. He saw it as pure disrespect. That's why when Jim sat down with Memphis Bleek and the topic came up, he didn't hold nothing back.
A lot of people, you know, me from the hood, so people look at Bleek and don't understand the business he's doing. They always look at Jay like, oh, yeah.
But that's why you got like Yayo talking about, Jay don't take care of. I don't need Jay to go on tour.
Yo, smoke hard coke, yo.
Yo, chill.
You look like you need to be taken care of. You look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene. You look like you need help. Tell your man 50 send you an ounce or something, yo.
You do need
you
that
might
help.
need 2 ounces, nigga.
That's why
Hey, the full movie,
see.
I got a G for every bump in your face, nigga. I promise you that, nigga. I promise you that, nigga.
That's why he worried about
Peon, you broke, nigga. You know I got it, nigga. What's up? The
ain't
bag
nobody,
is up. The bolsa.
Hey, yo.
Hey, Flea, win on both sides,
Let me finish that off. Ain't nobody taking care of over here, B. Yo, nah, you good, my nigga. I fucking love it. They deserve it. They need to hear this shit, man, because they bugging out here. All these niggas worrying about who taking care of who. We take care of we. Ain't no who take care of who, nigga.
Memphis Bleek kept it cool like he was trying to keep the peace, but Jim? Man, he went off. He was heated. No filter, no calm voice, just raw emotion spilling out. It wasn't even a regular back and forth. It was a full-on venting session. Jim Jones basically said, yo, none of these dudes are starving. None of them broke. They just love arguing over who got the better sponsor. The man compared the whole debate to a who sugar daddy does more contest. Wild statement. Then Jim started flexing, talking about his money, his success, the businesses he built, trying to remind the world that he's good, that he's self-made. But here's where it got twisted, because that's not even what Tony Yayo was attacking. Tony wasn't saying Jim was broke. He was saying Jim's team wasn't eating like him. In Yayo's words, I know Jim's rich, but his homies don't look like they rich. They don't look like they on. That's a different kind of insult, one that hits at your leadership and how you take care of your circle. If Jim had answered that point directly, I'd like, yo, my people good, you don't see what happens behind the scenes, it might have landed smoother, but instead, it turned into a bragging match. Jim's flexing came off more like defense than dominance, and that's what gave Yayo more ammo to keep poking. And of course, Tony Yayo wasn't gonna stay quiet. He hit Instagram immediately, throwing subtle shade through stories and reposts. But this is where it got even messier. Yayo reposted none other than Max B, Jim Jones's longtime rival and old Bird Gang affiliate. That was a straight up chess move.
Y'all niggas do, I don't do. I do the other thing. Everything. Y'all niggas go across the street that way, I'm going up. Holla at your boy. I do other things, man. I don't do what y'all niggas do. I don't do what niggas do. I don't watch niggas' money. I don't care. I just do what I do.
Everyone who knows the history between Max and Jim caught that instantly. That's the kind of repost that says way more than words ever could. So now the internet's divided? Whose side are you even on here? Jim Jones, the Harlem legend defending his name and loyalty? Or Tony Yayo, the outspoken G-Unit soldier who never bites his tongue? Either way, this beef's getting personal. And the lines between pride, friendship, and street loyalty are blurring fast. Jim Jones didn't let that Instagram shade slide for long. Once he saw Yayo reposting Max B, it was like lighting a fuse. Everyone who knows the history between Jim and Max knows that name alone is a pressure point. Their fallout from the Bird Gang days still runs deep, and Yayo knew exactly what he was doing with that repost. It wasn't just petty, it was strategic, like saying, I know your weak spot and I'm gonna poke it. Word started spreading fast, and blogs jumped on it immediately. Clips from the podcast went viral, with fans arguing nonstop in the comments. Some people said Jim was just defending his legacy, while others felt like he took the bait and let Yayo drag him into another pointless beef. Either way, it put both their names right back in the headlines, and that's something neither of them could resist. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed that Jim was furious that Yayo used Stack Bundle's name for clout. He felt like Yayo was disrespecting the dead just to score attention, but from Yayo's side, he claimed he was just speaking facts, saying too many rappers preach loyalty but never live it. That's when things started to shift from entertainment to something more personal, more emotional. People close to Jim said he was calling folks in Harlem, letting them know he wasn't tolerating any more disrespect. He wanted to make it clear that he didn't owe anybody explanations for how he moves. Meanwhile, Yayo kept feeding the fire online, liking shady posts and leaving cryptic captions that kept everyone guessing what his next move would be. What makes this whole situation even more complicated is that both men come from old school rap crews built on loyalty, Dipset and G-Unit. Those groups represented different parts of New York, different codes, different egos. So when two veterans from those camps start trading words again, it reopens wounds that never fully healed. And honestly, it's deeper than just a podcast argument. It's a clash of two eras, two mentalities, and two men who refuse to be seen as second to anybody. After that explosive back and forth, Jim Jones decided to speak his truth in a more personal way. Instead of letting blogs twist his words, he jumped on Instagram Live to clear the air. You could tell right away when this wasn't the flashy, cocky Jim people usually see. He looked serious, almost frustrated, like the weight of years of rumors finally got to him. He talked about how people love to bring up Stack Bundle's name without really knowing what happened behind the scenes. According to Jim, he was the one pushing Stack to take music seriously, to leave the streets, to think long term, but Stack just wasn't ready to leave his block. Jim said something that hit hard: "You can't save somebody that don't want to be saved." That line sent social media into a frenzy. Half the internet agreed with him, saying he was just speaking facts. The other half said it sounded like he was trying to rewrite history. But either way, it reignited conversations about mentorship, loyalty, and how fame changes real relationships in hip-hop. Meanwhile, Tony Yayo wasn't sitting quiet either. He started showing up in interviews and spaces online, doubling down on his comments. He claimed that what he said wasn't hate, it was accountability. According to Yayo, too many rappers act like big homies until something tragic happens, then they suddenly play innocent. He made it clear that if you're going to claim leadership, you got to protect your people, not just during photo ops, but when it really matters. What made things even more intense was that old clips started resurfacing of Stack Bundles praising Jim Jones back in the day, saying he looked up to him, saying he was grateful for the opportunities. That threw everyone off. Some fans started wondering if Yayo was twisting the story to stir the pot, while others said the love Stack showed back then didn't mean Jim couldn't have failed him later. It's crazy because this whole situation isn't just about Jim and Yayo anymore. It's turning into a debate about loyalty in hip-hop culture itself. Like, how much does a big bro really owe to the people under him, and how far does that responsibility go before it becomes a burden? At this point, the energy between Jim Jones and Tony Yayo has turned into straight chaos. What started as a simple podcast debate spiraled into one of the pettiest and most talked about rap feuds of the year. Both sides are taking subtle shots, reposting old clips, and letting their fans go to war in the comments. It's become less about who's right or wrong, and more about who can outlast the other in the spotlight. Jim's still standing firm, defending his name and his crew like a general protecting his soldiers. He's been saying that real loyalty doesn't need to be broadcast, and that people only see what he allows them to see. Meanwhile, Tony Yayo's keeping the drama alive with that classic G-Unit confidence, making it clear that he's not scared to call anyone out. Every time Jim tries to cool it off, Yayo throws another jab online, and boom, the internet lights up again. Fans are now split down the middle. Some say Jim's just passionate and tired of his name being disrespected, while others think Yayo's the only one speaking truth about how loyalty and money really work in the industry. Either way, this beef has revived a lot of old school New York energy. That raw, competitive, who's the real one type of vibe the rap game's been missing. And honestly, whether you rock with Jim Jones or you're riding with Tony Yayo, one thing's for sure, this drama is far from over. These are two men with pride, history, and a lot to prove, and neither one's backing down anytime soon. So what do you think? Are you on Jim Jones' side, or you rolling with Tony Yayo this time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next explosive update. I'll see you in the next one. And don't forget to click the video popping up on your screen for even more wild celebrity drama.